guys, welcome back to Toy Transformations. Today we have a ferocious transformation for you. We're gonna turn two of our LOL pets into Marky Mischief and Glinda Glitterpoop, the lion and the unicorn of the Feisty Pets. We're gonna make their growling version and their cute version as well. So stick with us because this video is going to be wild. Let's start with Marky's growling version. We're gonna make his face look furrier. First, put some air-dry clay on its face and then use a modeling tool to give it texture. Now let's make his ferocious growling mouth. Use a small piece of air-dry clay and use a modeling tool to shape it. Don't forget about his fangs. And let's also make his eyebrows with a tiny bit of clay. The eyebrows will give him that angry expression. He already looks pretty fierce. Then use some clear glue to attach his nose that we've made with a tiny bit of clay. Make sure you stick it on in the right place, like this. And we need to make his ears, guys. So grab two small pieces of clay and attach them right on top of his head. Then use a modeling tool to draw the details. Then we're gonna give the rest of his body a furry texture. So cover it with a big chunk of clay and then use a modeling tool to make him look fluffy. Then we're gonna do the same with the arms. We want Marky to have bigger paws, so we're gonna cover the doll's original paws with clay and shape them until they look the size we want, like this. And of course we're gonna use the modeling tool to make them look furry, just as the rest of his body. He's beginning to look pretty cool. Time to give our fierce Marky some color. We're gonna use some khaki acrylic paint and we're gonna paint his entire body except for the paws, his eyebrows and his mouth. Now let's paint the parts we left unpainted with a little bit of oat yellow acrylic paint. Just leave the mouth unpainted this time. And with a fine point permanent marker, we're gonna draw the details of his mouth. We're gonna use an ultra thin brush and some candy apple red acrylic paint for his mouth. Then, we're gonna paint his fangs with some white acrylic paint. It's time to paint his eyes! And now we're just going to use a tiny bit of peanut brown acrylic paint for the irises. Let's not forget about Marky's mane. We've cut a couple of strips from a furry fabric, and now we're gonna attach them to the top of his head with a little bit of clear glue. He's almost ready, guys! We just need to make his eyes look super shiny using a little bit of clear nail polish. And here we have the growling version of Marky Mischief. He definitely looks wild, but even the wildest ones can be tamed by love, right? Let's move on to Marky's cute version. So just like we did with the growling Marky, we're gonna cover his face with air-dry clay. And we're gonna use a modeling tool to give it a furry texture. Then we're gonna make his cute mouth. And then we're gonna attach a tiny bit for his nose with some clear glue. Make sure to fix it in the right place, like this. Now we need to attach his eyebrows, but this time we're gonna give him an ultra sweet and tender expression. Let's grab two small pieces of clay, roll them and then flatten them out. Then you need to attach them to the top of his head. These are gonna be his ears. It's time to make his body look ultra furry. We need to cover it entirely with air-dry clay. And then we're gonna use our modeling tool to give it the texture. And don't forget about his cute little arms. Then we're gonna make his paws look as if he was sitting. So attach some pieces of clay and use your fingers to shape them. He's gonna look great. Here we have some white furry fabric. So what we're gonna do is grab some brown chalk and we're gonna give it some color. It's time to give cute Marky some color. Let's use some khaki acrylic paint for his entire body except for the paws, his eyebrows and his mouth. We're gonna use a little bit of oat yellow acrylic paint. He's beginning to look great. Now let's paint the area of his mouth with a tiny bit of white acrylic paint and an ultra thin brush. Just leave the nose unpainted. We're gonna use a tiny bit of khaki acrylic paint for his nose. Then, let's use an ultra thin permanent marker to draw the details on his mouth. First, we're gonna put a cute smile on that face. And then we're gonna add the whisker marks. Just draw a few dots like these ones. And now we can attach his mane, just like we did with his growling version. Now we just need to make his eyes look ultra shiny using a little bit of clear nail polish. And here we have the adorable version of Marky Mischief. Just look at those lovely eyes and his ultra fluffy mane. He's certainly the cutest lion ever. Let's move on to Glinda Glitterpoop, the unicorn. We're gonna start making his growling version. So first we're gonna cover her entire face with some air dry clay, and we're gonna use a modeling tool to give it a furry texture. Then we're gonna make her mouth. We're gonna use her modeling tool to make her look super wild. And we're also gonna give her an angry expression by attaching her eyebrows. And she needs a horn, of course. So make one out of a piece of clay like this one and attach it right at the middle of her forehead. She's beginning to look pretty creepy. Now grab your modeling tool and poke gently right on her nose to make her nostrils, like this. It's time to give her body a furry texture. All you need to do is cover it with a big chunk of air dry clay and use your modeling tool to make it look like fur. Then we're gonna paint her body with a little bit of white acrylic paint. This will give her a super cool shiny finish. Now we're gonna paint her hooves with some of this fabulous purple acrylic paint. This is a pretty lovely color for someone so fierce, don't you think? Then we're gonna paint her eyebrows with some of this lilac acrylic paint. And don't forget about her horn. We're gonna use some of this butter yellow acrylic paint to make it look super bright. Now let's use some more of the purple acrylic paint for the inner part of her ears. And let's also paint her nostrils with some hot pink. With a fine point permanent marker, we're gonna highlight the contour of her mouth, like this. Then we're gonna use some candy apple red to paint the inner part of her mouth. She's beginning to look ultra creepy, guys. Then we're gonna attach her mane using a little bit of clear glue. And now we're gonna add a thin coat of clear nail polish. She's ready, guys! Here we have Glinda, guys. She's definitely the scariest unicorn I have seen. But don't worry, because she also has a nice side, and you're about to meet it. For our final transformation, we're gonna make the cute version of Glinda. So let's start by making her face look super furry, just like we did with the growling version. Then we're gonna attach this ball made out of clay to make her mouth. Use some clear glue and your modeling tool to fix it in place. Now let's attach her eyebrows. Remember that we want her to have a cute expression, so we're gonna place them like this. And then we can attach her ears. We've shaped two small clay triangles and we're gonna stick them right on top of her head. It's time to make her horn. You just need to roll some clay until it looks like a cone. And then you can attach it right in the middle of her forehead. Then we're gonna use our modeling tool to poke her nose gently. We want to make her tiny nostrils. And it's time to give her body that furry texture we love so much. So just repeat what you did for her growling version. Which has been your favorite transformation so far, guys? Here we have a piece of white furry fabric. So grab a purple chalk and color it to make Glinda's mane. Then we're gonna paint her entire body with a little bit of white acrylic paint. This will give her a super cool shiny finish. Now we're gonna paint those lovely hooves with some of the purple acrylic paint. And let's use some of the same purple paint for the inner part of her cute little ears. We're also gonna use a little bit of lilac to paint her eyebrows. With a little bit of butter yellow, we're gonna paint that fabulous horn. She's already looking ultra cute. Then, use a tip of your modeling tool and a tiny bit of hot paint for her nostrils. How neat! Now let's put a cute smile on that lovely face. Just draw a thin line with a fine point permanent marker. There! Let's also paint those cute eyes with a little bit of cornflower blue acrylic paint. And let's attach that fabulous purple mane. Use a little bit of clear glue and a strip from the purple furry fabric. How magical! And now we're gonna add a thin coat of clear nail polish. She's ready, guys! Here's a cute version of Glinda Glitterpoop. I can't believe how adorable she looks, especially that fabulous horn. That was it for today, guys! Here we have the growling and cute versions of Marquis and Glinda. Let's take a look. First we have cute Marquis. He's adorable, but don't make him mad because he turns into growling Marquis. Wow, he's so ferocious. Just look at that angry face. Then we have growling Glinda. She's quite fierce as well, but once she calms down, she turns into cute Glinda, the most adorable unicorn. Let us know in the comments below which was your favorite transformation of the day. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell for more fabulous transformations. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. We love you so much. See you next time. Bye!